So I've been invited to check out a new car in the C segment that's going to be disrupting the market in terms of pricing, which is going to be competitive. We don't know the full pricing for this yet. It's the BYD Dolphin. And if you're wondering what the BYD stands for, or you haven't heard of them before, it's Build Your Dreams. And I don't know if I'm the one building the dreams or they're building our dreams, which is an affordable car that's going to do decent range and be durable, right? And look good as well. So this is a part of the Ocean series, and as you can tell by the name, Ocean series, you can tell we've got Dolphin. Really cute name, and the car looks really cute as well. So this is the kind of car that's going to be competing with the likes of Vauxhall, I'd say Vauxhall Corsa E, but this is slightly bigger in some sense. It's got bigger boot space, so probably a lot more practical than that. But before I get too deep into it, let's look around the design and see what we actually get here. So starting from the front, it's not very jarring. This is a Chinese car, essentially, but it's built for this market, which means when you see this on the road, you're not gonna feel very too Chinese-y, if that's a word. So we've got big BYD logo on the front there. We've got our daylight running lights and decent ground clearance as well. That looks like it's gonna be a side curtain there, but it's actually not, but it's still it's decent on the aerodynamic figures as well. Coming onto the side, we have our 7-inch alloys on here, decent styling as well. And I think my first impression looking at the car is it's very, very stylish, but minimalist at the same time. And as we move to the side of the car, we've got some sharp looking designs. Look at the lines just running across, got 4 doors there as well. And we still got a bit of wrapping on this because this is a pre-production model. And I cannot wait to see this on the UK roads. I think people will love this one. As we move to the side, things looks a bit compact as it moves. It kind of slopes down just a tiny little bit. And then we get our spoiler there. In fact, I've got my notepad here for some numbers that I know that I'm not going to remember off by heart, so we go through that as well. I'm loving this little pattern on the side here as well. We've got that big Build Your Dreams writing on the back. Look at the pattern on the tail lights. I think that looks really cool. It stands out. It's different from what I've seen on the road already. It's kind of unique to that brand, to this brand here, BYD, and that's really good. Something that stands out from the crowd. The boot space in here, we're looking at around 345 litres of boot space, if I'm looking at my notes here. And we also get extra space underneath here as well, so you can store your cables and all that stuff. And the seat at the back can be folded down for more space, I think just above 1,300 litres of space once you fold that down. So if you're gonna be taking this to IKEA, you can fit a bit more in there if you need to. And a big, it's a hatchback, so you get a big opening space as well, so it's easy to get a load of content in here without worrying about that at all. So this is giving me a lot of practical credentials so far, which is what's important with this kind of cars. The price point that I'm guessing this is going to be at, I think this is going to sell very well because it's affordable. It's going to be affordable. I can't tell you the price just yet, but it's going to be affordable and you're going to be getting loads of space in here. Let's go on the inside and see how much space, how much room we get as well. And some of the tech in there which are quite interesting. The infotainment display is quite snazzy. Let's check it out. Here in the back seat, things feels very cozy. I love the soft material, mixture of soft materials that's used in here, the all sustainable material. Even the door handle has got like a little hint of ocean vibes with the dolphin fin on here, which is really cool. I really like what they've done there, and it feels actually quite comfortable to hold in hand. I know that's not something that most people probably look out for, but it's there. We also have 2 USB-C ports here, so you can charge your devices, so your passenger can at the back. We have plenty of knee room here, so imagine this person sitting in this particular position. If I'm sat at the back, I can sit here comfortably well. Headroom could do with a bit more because I'm 5'11", so I can just about touch. There's a little bit where it dips here because we have a panoramic sunroof here. So there's a little bit where it dips here to hide some of the mechanisms there. So it kind of hits my head a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I think it's still okay. I can sit here comfortably for a long period of time. Armrest, as always, with 2 cup holders in there. Got some more cup holders in the door. So plenty of little spaces there to store things for a long journey. Up in the front, we have the vegan leather material still going here, and it looks really good. I think it suits this car very well. There's plenty of like tiny little spaces here and there that you can use. But before I talk about that, I'm loving the seats. I think the seat shape just looks really good as well. I think for a car in this segment to have something like that just gives you that sporty look, that sporty feel when you're driving this. I'm loving the ventilation as well. I think the vents looks very decent. I think the design is interesting. It sort of gives you that this aviation style type of design, which I quite like. And we have a glove compartment there as normal, really nice and big. I reckon you can store, for someone like me, I could probably put my DSLR in there and hide it away if I'm on a shoot, for example. Here we have a wireless charging area, so I can place my phone there to charge it wirelessly. Again, we have this like aviation inspired looking, controls here, physical buttons for your climate control, as I'd like your gear shifters there as well, and then your park park, handbrake stuff, auto start, stop here, just here, because you won't be using it as much as you would everything else. But it's good to have those as buttons so you don't have to dig deep into the infotainment system to get into those things. We have 2 cup holders here, and there's another little space here with a little curtain thing that you can slide across and store more bits there, and then you can, for privacy, you can hide it away. Maybe put a phone in there if you need to really do that. I don't leave my phones in my car. And then there's another tray here where you can just place things. So, you know, like my notepad here can just stay there for a bit, or whatever, it's up to you. So you get plenty of space there in terms of as far as space go. You have a panoramic sunroof, which I mentioned already, goes all the way to the back a little bit. So both the passengers and the driver, front and back, can all enjoy the joys of getting some nice sunshine in the car. Maybe not in the UK because we hardly get any sunshine here. We have a flat bottom steering, which is nice for getting in and out of the car. This is manually controlled. Unfortunately, it's not electronically controlled, but I think in here, nothing's trying to be too fancy so far. But then I say that until you see what this can do. So this is around 12.6 inch of a display, very responsive, works really well as you're sliding across, easy to use as well, it's not overwhelming. The icons are very understandable without having to read a manual book to get into it. So if you've used a tablet or smartphone before, you would get used to this straight away. But I say it's not very snazzy in here, but until you see this. So this can also rotate if you need it to, like so. But again, it's very responsive because you press the button, does it straight away. The whole thing, orientation, rotates very quickly as well. So that's good, because what would annoy users or anyone buying this is if that doesn't work straight away, or you're having to wait, and if that glitches, you don't want that at all. We're going to rotate that back for the sake of this video, because then you can see a lot more very easily on camera. So this allows you to control some of the climate functions as well. I like the way it's been set up. So you got navigation, your media control straight away on the home screen. You also have split screen menu here, so you can actually have 2 things displaying at the same time. And this sort of reminds me of your Android phones, because you can also have things run in the background. You can see what's running in the background like so. So you can see some of the apps run in the background. So I do wonder if this is actually running on Android. It won't surprise me at all. If you go into settings, it's very easy to control as well, as in figure out. So if I just scroll across, go into settings, actually before I go into that, Spotify is already installed on here, and this will work with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But back to the settings, it's neatly laid out. So you have DI link, which gives you things like your connectivity options. You can go into audio settings, control the equalizer, go into display settings, control the brightness, and change the things like your wallpaper or screensaver and stuff like that. You got software options and so on. You go to DI Pilot. This is where you can change all your driver assistance systems. So you got Highway Navigation Pilot, which means with these 2 options, the car can actually change lanes where possible for you safely as well. So if your highway or motorway where you live supports that, then that would work really well. Then you got your driver assistant. So you got like lane support, traffic sign recognition rather. And you also got things like lane keep assist and rear cross traffic alert warning and blind spot warning and stuff like that. You got parking assistance as well, with panoramic camera, a 3D camera on this, which is incredible. That's not something you see in this segment quite often. We go to energy menu. This is where you can see things to do with your charging settings and energy consumption. You even get a consumption graph as well. I don't know what you do with that information, but what matters there the most is your average electricity consumption. So you can use that to monitor the way that you drive. This will have vehicle to load as standard as well. That's what I've been told, which is pretty cool, which means you can use this to power things like, I don't know, whatever you want to power outside of the car. So if you're going to take this, maybe for a cheeky little camping sesh, you'll be able to do that. We go to vehicle settings. This is where you can change some of the characteristics of the car. So for example, smart chassis, you can change things like your steering mode from comfort and sports, which I'm assuming the steering should stiffen up a bit more. When you go to sports, you got your brake assist mode, again, comfort and sport. And then we got things like ambient lighting. So in here you can change it. You can't really see it there because it's quite bright, but at the moment it's on like blue. So you can change the way that behaves as well. External mirror, AC, etc. and vehicle health. I'm not going to go into those bits because they're just stuff that you probably won't check all the time. But overall impression is this is very responsive. I love the way that it rotates, and it's quite good that it rotates on demand. It works really well. Your instrument cluster is very small, but you don't need it to do too much. It's just there to give you all the important information like your speed, rev counter, you know, how many miles you got left, and energy consumption, all that stuff. Maybe not rev counter, but you get the gist. But yeah, that's basically up front here. And I think the steering controls as well, there for media control and also your cruise control stuff. This also has a decent voice control, I've been told. I can't demo it in this particular version because, again, it's pre-production, but it's quite responsive in the sense that you can use it to open the panoramic sunroof, for example, or change different things. That's one thing I've noticed in more expensive cars like Mercedes, where it actually works really well. So having that in this segment, again, makes it super, super competitive, which is pretty cool. But that's pretty much it about the BYD in terms of what you get inside of here. But I know that you guys are wondering what some of the stats are. So in terms of power, we're looking at 60 kilowatt hour battery in here, and it's running on that blade technology and LFP as well. And all that means for you is basically the battery is a lot more robust, is more efficient and safer as well. So I think they're not using cobalt at all in this one. So it's one of the best batteries on the market, which is something Tesla will be using very soon as well. But it's BYD, they've been doing this for so long. So again, like I said at the start, it fills me with a lot of confidence that the battery technology in here would be really efficient. It comes with heat pump as standard as well, which again is sometimes rare in this segment. You're looking at 265 miles on the WLTP, which is, again, if I'm going to be driving this in the city, that's a lot of range to expect from this. 0 to 62 in 7 seconds and 290 Newton meters of torque, which 7 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but in an electric car with fast delivery, you're going to feel that pretty much. You're looking at 201 brake horsepower or 150 kilowatts in terms of power. Top speed, 100 miles per hour. And this supports a maximum of 88 kilowatt DC charging. So 30 to 80% in just 29 minutes. So park this up very quickly, plug it in, and you're good to go. It supports your 7 kilowatt post charge as well. So onboard 11 kilowatts charging. So that way you can plug it overnight and charge this up as well. But that's pretty much it. We can't drive it just yet, it's a prototype, but hopefully we'll be able to drive one of these when it hits the fleet or the UK roads and give you a driving impression. Well, that's everything you need to know about the upcoming BYD Dolphin before it hits the UK roads. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below and let me know what you think as always. And if this is your first time around here, please do subscribe, smash the bell notification, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.